right, Abby, so you found yourself sort of religiously wrestling this weekend during Easter.
Yeah, I feel like yesterday was probably a weird day for a lot of people and I feel like a lot of my generation is in this boat where you're questioning beliefs that you've held for most of your life. So a little backstory for me is I was about as religious as you could get, like growing up. I was very, very involved in my Christian youth group growing up. I led youth groups for years. And for my entire life, it was just such a big part of my life and my identity. And I would say into my adulthood, I just started critical thinking and just questioning whether or not I really believed what I said that I believed. In the church, they're really big on this thing called the testimony, where it's like, what was your life like before Christianity? What was it like after? And I was like, well, I came out the womb Bible thumping, so I don't really know. This is all I've ever known. And it just made me think, I'm like, if this is all I've ever known, and I'm not saying I was brainwashed, I'm like, how do I know what I believe is really true? There's a million people out there that think their religion is right. There's a million people out there that think that there is no religion. How do I know that what I have always believed is actually true? So I'm kind of on this journey of just kind of dabbling with questioning, and it's weird because I feel like this is maybe the first phase in my life where I would feel uncomfortable calling myself a Christian.
Yeah, and I would say this also, before you even get in depth in it, I talked to Andy Stanley about this for a while, and he told me that God wants you to question it.
Well, I am. So I'm doing good, apparently.
You don't get like, I think some people...
Gold star, bing, bing.
I think some people just want to rely on like, well, that's why they call it faith. But Andy was telling me like, God wants the questions, man. God wants you to really take a look at your relationship.
Yeah, so I'm just not in a place where I'm okay with uncertainty. And I understand that faith requires a little bit of just kind of believing. But for me, I think I'm in a place where I'm like, if I'm going to live my life in such a way that is on that path, I'm not comfortable with being in the gray area anymore. Like, I want to be certain. I want to stand on business if I'm going to say I'm a Christian. So I would say I've been on that path for a couple of years now, and I feel like every year I sort of waver where, maybe I'll post something on Instagram where it's like, okay, I'm posting this thing about Easter, but I still kind of have all these like weird questions and this existential crisis that I'm going through. But I would still say, I'm still going to go to church, and I'm still going to, I still feel like I identify as a Christian. And this is the first year where I saw Easter come up on the calendar, and I was like, I don't really feel like doing anything that day. I'm like, I'll go to an Easter brunch because I was invited to it, but I'm not going to go to church. I don't even know if I'm going to post anything on Instagram about it. And that was really weird because I'm like, it just kind of is a physical and life representation of where I'm at with my religion, where I'm like, I feel weird even posting Happy Easter because I'm like, I don't really even know if I feel like I can say that with my full chest, Happy Easter. You know what I mean? If I'm sitting there wondering if what the story of Easter, if that's even true, I do not feel comfortable saying like Happy Easter or celebrating in any way because it just feels phony, it just feels fake. I feel like, what am I really saying Happy Easter for if I'm spiraling about whether or not I believe that what they say happened actually happened? And it's been frustrating for me because I'm not comfortable in not having progress in certain areas of my life. Like if there's a problem in my life, like if I want to get more in shape, I go to the gym. If I want to learn more about a specific subject, I'm gonna watch a documentary or read a book or whatever. Like I'm a very proactive and formulaic person, whereas like if I want to do something, I'm gonna do it. But when it comes to my relationship with God in church, I gotta be honest, I'm terrified to step back into a church because I am terrified that if I step back in there, I am going to walk in and be affirmed that I don't believe anymore. Like I'm scared to go back in because I'm scared to not be what I've been my entire life. And I'm scared to not have direction or a moral compass or hope for the afterlife. Like I'm terrified that I'm going to walk back into church and go, yeah, I think all my doubts are right. Like I want to walk back into church and I want to have like the doves come down. And I want Jesus to like whisper in my ear and be like, I've been here the whole time, girl. But instead, like I'm just kind of in this functional freeze of being terrified to do anything about it. And I think Easter really brought that out because if there's one day you're going to go to church, it's Christmas and Easter. And I didn't even want to get remotely close to a church over the weekend. So it's a weird place to be in. And I think a lot of people are in the same boat if they're questioning their religion.
Well, because your family was so religious and that's how you were raised, have you had any of these conversations with your family?
Yeah, and I love my parents listen, so I'm not going to be mean about it. But my parents aren't very open about doubts. I think my mom is actually really like terrified that I'm going through this. And I don't know if it's because like she has a lot of respect for my opinion or if she's like terrified of me going to hell. Like, I don't know if it's one of those two things, but I think my family is a little bit more closed-minded than I am. And I am more comfortable questioning. I'm more comfortable sitting in what if what we believe is not right.
Mm-hmm. I know it would be different, like what works for everybody and what this looks like for everybody. But for me, when I've ever had those moments of really questioning and doubting my faith and what I've been taught, because I remember me and my mom had a conversation once, and she would always tell me, pray over it, to the point where it was like, I need more than that. I don't know, like pray over it is not the solution for everything. I do already, but I need more than that. And I remember her telling me, if you sincerely feel this way, talk to God. Like, go talk to him. And I was afraid to, because I'm like similar to what you said. What if he don't answer? He's not going to whisper in my ear like I've been here. And I was afraid to for a long time until it really got to the point where I hit rock bottom and I did not believe anymore. And I did just that. I talked to God. And no, he didn't whisper in my ear, but there were things that happened after that to where I felt like he did answer, and it helped me when I was at that place of really needing to believe in something that I always had.
Did you get hit by that car right after that conversation you had with God, like questioning, like,
God, if you listening, see, testing you.
He's like, you really want to talk to me, don't you? We're about to see each other face to face, baby.
How strongly you've been questioning it since the gout came along?
God does have a bit of a passive aggressive reaction to a lot of the things, but yeah, I survived that getting hit by that car. I have to tell you something.
Here's Jen saying, you are not alone, Abby. Hey, Jen, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Bert Show. I love you guys so much. And Abby, oh my goodness, like I am right there with you, and I've been there for quite some time. And I think I used to be really, really religious myself, and I found that it's not the religion that I have trouble with. It's the organized religion that I have trouble with. It's the people that I would go to church, and you know, the whole, if you sit in my pew, oh my goodness, you get the dirty looks. The people who are going to church and claiming to be Christians are not acting very Christianly, and the messages that they're teaching are not what those individuals are actually doing out in their real everyday lives.
Feels a little hypocritical, but that's not your thing, though, right? Yours is more like, okay, come on, the Red Sea party, and it's kind of like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, come on, he's really gonna like move that rock by himself.
Right. It's funny because I think a lot of people have a problem with organized religion and the people in the church, but I fit in there. Like it's a weird thing to say, but like I love organized religion. I love routine. I'm a Taurus. I love knowing I have structure every week. I love community. And I think maybe because I was one of those people that it doesn't feel uncomfortable for me to be there, which is a weird thing to say. But for me, like I just can't, I don't know if I can get on board with like the thousands and thousands of years ago things written down, and I'm not sure if they're true or not.
Hey, Majan, good morning. You're on the Bert Show.
Hey, Abby. Hey, Bert Show. Love you guys.
Thank you.
I went through the same thing in high school. I had a very tough high school experience, so I decided to go back to church with one of my close friends. I did Bible study. I didn't even make it to the baptism because I didn't believe anymore. And I grew up in church. I did liturgical dancing. I did choir. I did Bible study. I did all of that. But as I got older, I just stopped believing. And my family is very still religious based. I found that spirituality works better for me. I definitely believe in a higher power, but I don't like you said, just the specifics of it, the way that they make it seem so real and ingrained and true, and you really don't know. You don't know. So I think that it's okay to have a change of heart, because you might have another change of heart later where something happens and you start to believe again. I think that you should just follow your heart and believe what you believe, and don't let anybody tell you anything different.
Thank you for calling.
I actually struggled with this in college. I used to be very religious, Bible study, like the whole 9 yards. And one thing, if I can give you some information, Abby, from someone who maybe hasn't come back to the fold, I do believe there's something else out there. But one thing that did help me a lot, especially when you're specifically talking about the Bible and the stories in the Bible, is knowledge. So a lot of people don't realize Apocrypha, like demons and all that, was written by monks like hundreds of years later. So I would find like people with doctorates in theology who have studied theology, not just priests and pastors who have also done their own studies, but actual like academic theologians, and don't come for me, but there are a lot of them on TikTok actually who explain what a lot of the passages in the Bible mean historically. And for me, given that context, it allowed me to better understand the time frame in which it was written and what the point was of those different passages. Some people argue like, don't eat pork is in the Bible. Well, pork was often trichinosis. It was undercooked. It made people sick. So was that maybe put in there for public health rather than being a religious law? So I think by getting that information, you're a very smart person. It could help you, lead you to the conclusions that you're comfortable with and take you down a path that you want to go down.
Yeah, I might have to go on a deep dive one day when I'm a little bit more emotionally stable.
If Jesus is listening this morning, I just want to let you know I got no beef with you, man.
I got no beef with you either. Just talk to me. Hey, call me up, bro.
I got no beef with anything in the Bible. We're good.
He's
solid
like,
over here, man. All solid.
He's like, the timing. I just had a big weekend. You know what I mean? Like,
He's got a lot going on.
He's like, I just got up. Okay.
The Bert Show.